Next, the card base. I use craft cardstock for the base, and I'm actually kind of following a template, if you will, that was in the Holiday Mini right above that designer paper. So see the designer paper here? So this is what I'm using, this one here. And then the card right here is kind of the layout I'm casing, if you will. So I'm going to take my craft stamp pad, Old Olive again, and I'm going to take this is a image from A Cardinal Christmas, again a new stamp set that's in the Holiday Mini right now, and I'm just going to stamp that along the edge. Oh, you know what? I forgot one step here. I forgot to rub my embossing buddy over my cardstock. You don't want to forget to do that, like I did. We'll just keep going though. Pretend we did. Alright, so we've got that stamped. I'm going to grab my scrap paper, and I'm embossing it with crystal clear embossing powder, and that's why I used the craft ink, so that I could emboss it and just get a little shine, a little lift on it, and add a little bit more to the card. So I'm going to get rid of that so I don't blow it all over the place when I turn on my heat gun. So again, going to be loud for a minute, but you can just watch and watch it change. There it goes. Can you see it at the top starting to change? So now I have some Old Olive branches embossed off to the side. And again, I would have preferred to use my embossing buddy, but it's kind of a dry day today here in New Hampshire, so not too bad there, not a lot of excess. The embossing buddy just takes off the static from the cardstock and allows the powder to stick only to the ink and not to the cardstock where you don't want it to. Alright, so now I'm going to take real red cardstock. It's 2.5 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to use our new scallop edge punch. If you haven't seen this used, it's pretty easy. Throw your cardstock in anywhere if you want. Just give it a punch, and then you slide it either direction, and you use the silver scallops that are on the punch here as your guide. So line those up so they're even. And now I've got that side done, so now I'm going to slide it over here, line it up, give it a punch, keep going, line it up, give it a punch. And I've got a scallop edge. I'm going to take some chocolate chip ink and my Stamp-A-Majig. I've already stamped Merry Christmas on my Stamp-A-Majig, and I think I'm going to stamp this a little bit higher than I did on the card I showed you. See how that looks. Put that S right into a little scallop there. So putting the sentiment where I want it, putting the T-square, if you will, against that imaging sheet, removing the imaging sheet, inking up my stamp, and putting the stamp right in the corner there. So it's right where I want it. I'm going to adhere that to my card front. There we go. And then I'm going to take some of our wide chocolate chip grosgrain ribbon. If you haven't noticed from looking at my blog, or if you stamp with me, I use designer series paper and ribbon pretty much all the time. I have a hard time not using them, but I just think they really complete the card, ribbon completes the card, and designer series paper really tells you where to go. You know, you pick the paper you like, you grab the colors right out of it. You know, this one happens to be real red and old olive, so that's the ink and the cardstock I used. Alright, so pressure to tie a nice knot in front of you all here. And then I'm taking my nice honkin' scissors just for ribbon and using those. So I'm almost there. I'm going to grab some, sorry for the reach, some dimensionals and put some dimensionals on the back of my poinsettia, if you will. Putting one all around 4 corners and one in the center so that it doesn't bow anywhere. And then if you just stick your fingernail in the center of those, then that kind of gives them a lift, and hopefully you can take these off relatively easily. One more to go. Not doing too bad. Alright, and then stick your completed flower where you would like it. I'm going to move my ribbon down a little bit because I want my flower down a little bit. And there you go. And if you wanted to secure your ribbon, the knot of your ribbon even a little bit more, you could do so by just grabbing a glue dot with the tip of your scissors, sliding it under. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. Sliding it under, and then push with the glue dot and remove the scissors and your glue dot's down there. So, hopefully you like that card, hopefully you like that flower and that tutorial, and you'll give it a shot. Let me know on my blog what you think, and if you liked it or didn't like it, if you want another video tutorial or not. And happy stamping!